VannKraken here. Most World of Warships players don't expect a cruiser to dictate solo play against battleships in close quarters and carry the match. But as the old sweat hog saying goes, when you least expect it, expect it. On today's episode of World of Warships Legends Salvos, we examine the versatility of heavy cruiser play and how to adapt your ship's role and technique to 3 distinct phases of a match so you'll be able to crush it in your own cruiser games. The stage is set in the USN Navy Heavy Cruiser Baltimore on the higher tier map Sleeping Giant, with its tranquil Asian vibe and very manly looking pagoda. But this match will prove to be anything but calm. We spawn in on the eastern flank and quickly move in to support both the Sea Cap and our destroyer division mate Archer in his Udachi, as depicted here with the red arrow. As a general rule, it's better to support the Cap on the flank you spawn nearest to in a cruiser or a battleship. Don't be that player who drives halfway across the map to get on the lemming train, all the while losing valuable time engaging the enemy. In the opening phase of the match, we set up with island cover after a very quick period to assess our initial deployment. Our first objective is to both support the nearby flanking Cap and get our guns working, but we also want to try to preserve our health in the first 5 minutes of the match, so we avoid directly entering the Cap and use the island behind the north side of C to establish a position with both terrain cover and workable firing arcs for our main battery guns. For a more detailed explanation of how to abuse island terrain as cover in a cruiser, see our Shots series episode number 1, which covers cruiser island fighting in depth. Our tactical goal here is to deny and deter enemy ships from entering the Sea Cap uncontested, and to support our allied Udachi, who is doing a great job spotting for us. By keeping our guns active, we are able to set 3 fires in this opening 5-minute period of the match, using primarily HE ammunition. And we punish an early enemy push by securing a first blood kill on an enemy Massachusetts. And even better, we take no damage in return, using island cover effectively and saving our health for later crucial stages of the match. At the beginning of the middle phase of the match, things have thinned out a bit as both teams have lost 2 ships. With the battle extending beyond the Sea Cap itself, we have an important decision to make. We can stay in cover and preserve health at the cost of offensive output and providing support to our teammates, or we can venture out from cover and engage the enemy while they are distracted by multiple ships from our team. At this stage of the match as a cruiser, it's really important that we choose the second option, which keeps our guns firing and allows us to stay on the offense, especially since distracted foes are less likely to focus us down in our squishier armor when they have divided attention. The purpose of our push into an open water engagement is not only to keep firing at a Siegfried and Massachusetts on our flank, but also to use our radar to flush an enemy Z-23 destroyer from his position near the Sea Cap. In this middle phase, we use kiting as a strategy to keep attacking while giving a hard, skinny target to hit and showing as little of the side of our cruiser to the enemy capital ships as possible. Again, in this case, the Siegfried and the Massachusetts. We also start to vary our ammo selection based on the type of ship we are targeting and what part of it is exposed, using armor-piercing rounds on the softer sides of the Siegfried and later loading high explosive rounds to counter the Z-23, which is less susceptible to damage from AP. Finally, we use our radar and push up to fire on the Z-23 and help the team knock him out of the match. While we don't get any kills in this middle 3-minute stretch, we double our damage output, focusing down 2 targets and give ourselves a critical ship lead of 7-3 heading into the last phase of the game. But in the final act, all good things come to an end, including our lead. With a fewer number of enemy ships to confront, most of which are still in our area, we move in to help keep the Sea Cap because it is the only one we have possession of, meaning the points counter is working against us if we lose any ships. And we do, of course. As we push forward to keep C secure and to help move on the D cap, the enemy Odin pushes east to try and take the final cap, and we discover that the remaining enemy destroyers also in the area sitting under the cover of his smoke. This is the perfect time to showcase Baltimore's radar, and we flush the Asashio out and work him over with our high Alpha Strike HE shells that do high damage and also wreck his modules. We take out the Asashio with 3 well-placed salvos and then see that the Odin is pushing through the gap at only 5.4 kilometers away. He is only briefly occupied by an allied battleship that quickly dies, so we are now the primary target of both him and a Duke of York that is approaching southwest of the cap to try to put us into a crossfire situation. At this point, we've lost 2 ships, our lead is now only 4-2, and we have to actively kite away from the Odin to keep our guns on him and do our best to preserve our health. Our divmate Archer comes to our aid in his Yudachi to finish the Odin and reach 170,000 damage for his tally, but dies in the exchange. So now it's a 2 versus 1 battle for C and D, but we finally realize that our allied Benson, which cannot be found, has been AFK for the entire game. So it's basically a solo 1v1, battleship versus cruiser showdown. We are even on caps, but slightly behind on points, so we have no choice but to go in for the kill on the Duke of York. We use some small islands to break contact after kiting for a stretch and scoring a fire that depletes some of the battleship's health. And then we go bow into the sea cap with only 2 minutes left to go on the clock. With little time to spare, the Duke makes a huge mistake, showing us his full broadside. High-tier American heavy cruisers feature 203mm guns with super heavy AP shells that can do serious damage to cruisers and solid damage to battleships, even if they don't get citadels. We switch to AP and score a good strike that also resets the D cap. Now we take full advantage of Baltimore's solid forward armor and stay bow in, using our front guns and try not to expose the side of our ship too much while we fire. Our secondaries start a fire and we take 1 large blow before a final salvo of AP shells seals the deal. We secure the win with just 49 seconds left on the clock, demonstrating the ability of a cruiser to push into a close quarters situation with several battleships and not only survive but ultimately thrive. In the final 7 minutes of the match, we set 4 more fires, score 8 cap resets, and get 2 more crucial kills, while more than tripling our damage total. We take control of the C&D cap area with the help of our allied Yudachi on the Odin and demonstrate the successful use of radar, close quarters kiting, ammo selection, bow angling, and knowing the clock and score to take the win with very little time to spare. It's a late game carry in a manner that truly shows off the impressive close quarters damage output of our cruiser's higher rate of fire in the final joust with the Duke of York. In the 3 phases of the match, we've shown how our cruiser tactics can evolve in a single game, from low aggression and high stealth using island cover, to a medium level of both in the middle of a match using open water kiting as a tactic, to an all-out assault on the Asashio and Duke of York trading health for aggression and damage output to hold the C&D caps and get 2 kills for the win, even with an AFK teammate. We've been successful in reading the situation throughout the match and adapting our role in a way that kept us engaged and in the fight in the most effective manner possible. Now that you've seen this epic and victorious duel to the death in Baltimore, click the link above for our Shot Series number 3, which goes into more detail on using the kiting technique in a cruiser and features another amazing performance in this ship. While it's hard to exactly copy the play you see in this game, taking the right cues from these different scenarios can help you learn to read and recognize your role as a cruiser player and believe in the powerful tools that these ships have to offer. Until we meet again, do yourself a favor and go play some cruisers in your port. With some practice, these ships have incredible flexibility and can really help swing a match in your team's favor. Our goal 100% is to help you get better at World of Warships and enjoy this game to the fullest. So while you're here, check out one of our recorded live streams or one of our other hopefully helpful videos. This is VannKraken, and I am out.